Okay, first sail in the topper sailboat. Let's get that pulled in. Come on. Get this up and ready to go. And shove off. Ah, come on. Oop. Okay, and I think we're finally sailing.
In this video, I borrowed this sailboat and it's my first time sailing it. Now, I learned to sail around the time I was in middle school. I learned on a variety of boats, mainly a homemade, I think it was a 12-foot sailboat. My first time sailing solo was on a Sunfish. I've also used Sailfish, a couple others. I think I've used a Force sailboat like a Force 5 and a 16-foot day sailor. This summer, I went to borrow a Sunfish from a friend, and he suggested that I use this sailboat, which is called a topper. So this sailboat is plastic, which I thought was interesting. It is 8 feet long, about or thereabouts, with a two-piece mast. Now, it's not rigged like a Sunfish. It has one boom, and the sail makes a right triangle. It weighs only a couple 100 pounds. The best thing about this sailboat is that it was designed to be transported on the top of a car. I have put a sailfish on top of a small car, and that was quite difficult. Transporting it, unloading it, and even with two people, it was quite a hassle. This boat is much smaller, so it doesn't overhang beyond the car more than like a foot. It's also easy for two people to load and unload it. And because it's much lighter, it puts less strain on the car's suspension. The real selling point, which I learned and we'll talk about in a future video, is that one person can load and unload it fairly easily from my vehicle. I will do a transport and rigging guide next year, but I will tell you it is much simpler to rig than a Sunfish. And on my second trip, I had it rigged in less than 5 minutes. On this first trip, I wanted to get a feel for how this boat handled. After all, it's very short and light, two factors which can decrease the stability. I launched it from the day-use beach at Lake St. Catherine State Park. Now, this is while the gates to the state park were closed, but you can still use the park. You just have to park at the road and walk in. So what I did was I put the boat on this cart and I wheeled it in. There was nobody around, so I just launched it right from the beach, which I wouldn't do, of course, if the beach was crowded. But and it was kind of a bad idea from the sailing side of things because of the wind. So here is Lake St. Catherine. That's the lake that I was on. It's the lake that I learned to sail on. And the state park is right up here. Now, normally when I launch a sailboat from the state park, so once I get going, I find that the sailboat handles pretty well. The wind was really soft and inconsistent, constantly kind of switching from the south to the west. So after doing a few tacks going back and forth, heading kind of south, I found that turning back was much easier in this boat than a sunfish. It seemed to be very forgiving when I did the maneuver wrong. So I came back quickly because my nephew Edward wanted to go sailing with me. Now, Edward has been very flip-floppy about sailing. He wanted to go, sometimes he wants to go with me, but then when I borrowed a sunfish a few years ago and took him sailing, he was really nervous at first. Now, he had fun, but then the next time I borrowed the boat, while he was around, he didn't want to go.
There's water in.
Yeah, there's a little bit of water. It's okay. It just kind of splashed in.
I saw you going like really fast. Like a speedboat.
Yep.
I hope that doesn't happen. If this boat does that, then I am never do my boat if it does that. So what are you gonna have for dinner?
I don't know. Now, when I say coming about, dip your head down. And then, because that means this boom here is going to be coming around. And watch out for those ropes right there.
Duck?
Not yet. I think I got one more and a good breeze and I can get it up and over. Okay, coming about. And then, once the boom, come on. Once the boom goes over like that, you'll want to get on the high side. You'll want to get on this side. Yep.
But every time we do...
We're okay. Yes, every time we do a turn like that, you'll want to be on the high side because otherwise you'll mess up the you'll be closer to the water,
how do we stop if we want to go fishing?
We would let the sail down, but we can't do that with this right now. I guess we would let the sail in, I think. I'm not really sure. Haven't worked out all the details yet.
So anyway, he's very nervous about sailing with me, and so we go out, and then the wind dies down, and so we didn't sail long. And then the next time he came over, he didn't want to go sailing. I don't know. So as we were coming in, he wanted to jump off the boat, which is fine by me because he was kind of in the way of the centerboard, and you need to remove the centerboard as you get close to land. But he was just really nervous, and he could have jumped out a lot sooner. I mean, you saw in the video he's wearing a life jacket, but by the time he jumped out of the boat, the water was literally only knee deep. So that's my first time sailing that particular boat. It was a short video. We didn't stay out very long, mainly because the wind kind of died down. I've took the boat out a few more times that week, and I took it to the Little Lake, which is a section of the lake south of the main lake, and it is on the other side of a bridge. I took it down there because I could get it closer to the water. That way I didn't have to put it on the cart and push it all the way down to the beach. Unfortunately, the winds are not as strong on the little lake, and so I was never really able to sail very well on the little lake. So I took it to the state park one more time.
Yeah, we'll bring it ashore, and then we'll see if the wind comes back.
When the state park opened up, and I launched from the boat launch, but that's a video for another time.